If your shoulders haven't changed in months, adding more weight probably isn't the answer. One bodyweight exercise forces your shoulders to work differently than almost every pressing movement, yet most people never train it properly. The interesting part is why. Once you understand what pike push-ups are actually doing, you'll never look at shoulder training the same way again. A lot of people assume bigger shoulders come from pressing heavier weights. It sounds logical. If you're getting stronger on the overhead press, your shoulders should naturally get bigger too. So every week you add another plate, another rep, or another set, expecting your physique to eventually reflect the progress you're making in the gym. But strength and shoulder development don't always increase at the same pace. The reason is simple. Your body isn't trying to make your shoulders grow. It's trying to complete the movement as efficiently as possible. As the weight gets heavier, it naturally spreads the workload across every muscle that can help. Your triceps and your upper chest joins in, that's exactly what makes you stronger. It doesn't necessarily mean your shoulders are receiving the best possible stimulus. That's why you'll sometimes see two people with similar pressing numbers, yet one has noticeably rounder shoulders. They both got the weight overhead, but that doesn't mean their shoulders were challenged in the same way. I spent a long time assuming a stronger press automatically meant better shoulders. Eventually, I realized I was measuring the wrong thing. Instead of asking, how much weight am I lifting? I should have been asking, how much work are my shoulders actually doing? That single shift completely changed how I approached shoulder training, and it led me straight to pike push-ups. So what makes one bodyweight exercise succeed where heavier pressing sometimes falls short? The biggest difference has nothing to do with the fact that pike push-ups are a bodyweight exercise. It comes from how they force your shoulders to work. Unlike a standard push-up where your chest does most of the pressing, pike push-ups shift a much larger percentage of your body weight directly over your shoulders. Before you even begin the rep, your delts are already supporting and stabilizing your body. Then, as you lower yourself toward the floor, they have to stay engaged to control the descent before immediately producing enough force to press you back up. That combination is what makes every repetition feel so different. Your shoulders aren't just responsible for moving your body. They're responsible for keeping it in position. Every clean repetition demands strength, balance, and control from the same muscles you're actually trying to develop. The first time I performed pike push-ups with proper technique, one thing surprised me more than anything else. My chest wasn't the first muscle to give out. My triceps weren't either. My shoulders were. That might sound obvious, but it completely changed the way I looked at the exercise. For the first time, the muscle I wanted to grow had become the limiting factor. Instead of wondering whether my shoulders were doing enough work, I knew they were. And when the muscle you're trying to build consistently becomes the reason a set ends, that's usually a very good sign you're giving it the stimulus it needs to adapt. Understanding why pike push-ups work is only half the battle. The biggest mistake people make is treating them like a random bodyweight exercise instead of a movement worth getting stronger at. If you want them to actually change your physique, you need to approach them like any other compound lift. That means focusing on performance, not just fatigue. Your first goal isn't chasing the hardest variation possible. It's building strength through the movement and gradually increasing the challenge over time. If you can perform 5 controlled repetitions today, your goal is to eventually make those 5 reps become stronger, cleaner, and more difficult. Once you can consistently own the movement, it's time to progress. Elevate your feet to shift more weight onto your shoulders. Slow down the lowering phase, add pauses, or eventually introduce external resistance. The goal is giving your shoulders a challenge they haven't adapted to yet. Because when you treat a simple movement like a serious strength exercise, it can produce results most people never expect. Even if you're doing pike push-ups, there's one mistake that can completely change what the exercise trains: your body position. The goal isn't simply getting your head to the floor. It's keeping your hips high enough that your shoulders stay directly over your hands throughout the entire rep. The moment your hips begin to drop, the pressing angle changes. Your chest starts contributing more, your shoulders contribute less, and what was supposed to be a shoulder exercise slowly turns into an awkward push-up. That's why every repetition should look almost identical. Control yourself, all the way down. Lightly touch the floor with your head, then press straight back up while maintaining the same body position. If your hips collapse halfway through the set, don't force extra reps just to hit a number. End the set there. Clean repetitions are what build stronger shoulders. It's much better to perform 6 perfect pike push-ups than 15 that slowly drift into a completely different exercise. Because at the end of the day, your body doesn't adapt to the exercise you intended to do. It adapts to the one you actually performed. Even after building stronger shoulders, I never removed pike push-ups from my training. Not because they're the only exercise that works, but because they keep improving more than just my shoulder size. They build overhead strength, improve shoulder stability, and create the foundation for more advanced skills like handstand push-ups. Even if you never plan on learning one, stronger and more stable shoulders carry over to almost every upper body movement you do. And if you want another bodyweight exercise that can completely transform your upper body, watch my next video on how dips dramatically change your body. It breaks down why one movement can build a chest that regular push-ups simply can't.